I said, you know what? I made up my mind. I'm going. I left alone.
Really?
I left Cameroon alone, passing through Nigeria.
Oh, is that
Passing
through
through,
Bakassi?
no, actually,
Okay.
going
Road.
through
Okay.
Mamfe and went through Ikom, and then
Okay.
start going up
I
through
don't even know.
Kano,
I don't even know those parts of Nigeria.
went through Niger, and so on. Cut a long story short, it took me 6 months. But on the way, I met other people. I think you've heard about that road and people using the road to Spain.
Yeah, yeah. So I
Yeah,
know to Libya.
yeah. Going to Libya, but I went through I instead to Morocco, and from Morocco,
Oh,
I
okay.
went to Spain. So in Morocco, there are two Spanish territories, right?
Okay.
Spanish territories inside Morocco, but these territories are inside Morocco at the top, at the
Okay.
northern end of Morocco, just close to the water, the Mediterranean Sea. These two territories are owned by Spain. They are Spanish territories and everything, but they are inside Morocco geographically. Does that make
Oh,
sense?
yeah, it does.
So
It
if you
does.
succeed to get into those territories, one is called Melilla and the other is called Ceuta. If you get into those territories, you are in Spain. And
Oh,
then the Spanish government will take you, the process. If you are asylum seeker, they will process your asylum and cross you over themselves with the ship to mainland Spain. So
this
it
is
took.
when?
This was in 1999.
Oh, that's a long time ago. Yeah.
Do you know Francis Ngannou, the boxer come from Cameroon?
Yes, yes, yes. Yes, I
Yeah.
do.
Francis
Yeah.
Ngannou used the road, but he used it later after he used it in 2008, much later than I used it much earlier.
Oh,
1999,
really?
we are talking about 1999 here.
That's a
20,
long time.
yeah,
Yeah.
27
Almost.
years.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
27 years. I got to Spain after 6 months. I'm trying to write, I'm writing a book and so on about my journey and all the challenges and
Please
things that
do.
I face. Yeah,
Please
but
do.
that is how I got to Spain.
I welcome you to another episode of Diaspora Tales, Migration Conversations, with different guests. Today, I have another guest, and I'm really excited to have him with me today because when I told him about the idea of this program, he was really supportive. He encouraged me. He said, I think you found a niche here, and he really, really encouraged me, gave me the encouragement I needed. I mean, starting out, so it's my great pleasure to have him. And when I told him I would also like him to come on the program, he didn't hesitate. I mean, his encouragement has been one of those things driving me to do this program. And the reason I say this is because he's an academic and who doesn't just talk lightly. He's my colleague, and one thing that I've admired about him, and I'm saying it to him for the first time, is not know is that he's a prolific writer and how he gets it done. Because I mean, we work in a busy place, but he gets it done. And I'm wondering how does this person do it? I have to go to him to teach me how to get it. I mean, he publishes articles like it's nothing, and then some of us are still struggling with one or two papers. Is already done 5-7. I'm wondering how do you get it done? I'm still going to go to him and ask him outside of this program to really show me how he's been doing that. So today I have with me Dr. Christian Nchindia. I hope I got that correctly. He's my colleague, and I've always thought he was Ghanaian. And I had to ask him, "Are you Ghanaian?" I said, "No, I'm Cameroonian, but I'm a friend of Ghana." Those were his words. I'm a friend of Ghana. Maybe I will ask him on this program why, if people mistake him for a Ghanaian, and why people think he's a Ghanaian. But I am really pleased to have him. He has gone to many universities. He has different certificates. I was trying to gather information before we started, and I saw that he's gone to university in Cameroon, gone to university, I think, in Spain. He's been to 3 different universities or 4 in the UK. So he's, I would say, he's an accomplished academic and erudite scholar. I'm really, really, really happy that we're going to have some insightful conversations today. So thank you so much, Dr. Christian, as I will call you through this program, for coming on this program.
Thank you very much, Dr. Darasimi. It's a pleasure to be on your program, and I don't deserve any of those compliments that you're giving me too much. I can't carry them.
Hello, you
But
do
yeah,
and more. Yeah,
well, if you think so, I respect that. But yeah, I am also just struggling, like everyone else, and just trying to do my best as I'm supposed to.
yeah, I know.
Yeah, thank
If
you
you
very
say you're
much.
struggling like everyone else, it's okay, but at least you're struggling and we're seeing the results, which I admire. Results speak for themselves.
Thank you. Thank you. I
Yeah.
take that. Thank you.
Yeah. So, I mean, going straight away into my questions, I want to ask, why did you come to the UK? Or what led to the decision? And how long have you been in the UK?
Okay, that's a very good question. I was expecting that question because I've watched some of your programs and I know their line of questioning.
Yeah.
Um, what inspired me to come to the UK to start with? I didn't come straight from Cameroon to the UK. I came from Spain. So I went from Cameroon to Spain. I stayed in Spain for 12 years.
Really?
Yes, before moving to the UK some 15 years ago. So I've been around altogether for 27 years. So first of all, I'll answer that question in two parts. Why I choose to go to Spain in the first place and why
Yeah.
then I moved to the UK from Spain. Well, I finished my first degree in Cameroon in 1999, and immediately after that, I traveled to Spain. And the reason I left for Spain was because I saw no future. When in my last year of the university, I was already teaching in a secondary school, and the proprietor was paying me something like 40,000 francs CFA, which should be, I don't know in Naira, but let's say equivalent to 40,000
Yeah.
Naira. But then the way he would pay me was very funny. He would pay me 10,000 a week. And I was like, just pay me all my money. I have bills to pay, and I have little ones already looking on me. I've just graduated I'm almost graduating from university, and you pay me money this way. He said, "Oh no, Mr. Atabong, you see, the students have not paid fees." I was still very young, I was 22, getting 23 at the time. And one day I sat, I'm like, this is not where I belong. I need to leave this country. This is no future. There's no future earning 40,000 francs CFA. I had young ones. I have even older sisters who have supported me through university,
Yeah.
and everyone. I was the hope of the family. And I thought, you know what, you need to leave. But then I didn't come from money. I didn't come from a rich family. Okay, so how will I live? That was a problem. I didn't have a way. I didn't have somebody, an uncle who was so rich who could sponsor me. My parents also were struggling. But something happened someday, which I have not told you, because I was waiting to tell you a little bit of it in this program, right? On this
Yeah.
program. And so someday I was coming back from school after teaching, and I met an old friend of mine from secondary school. He did not go to university anyway. He shouted my name and we laughed and we hugged each other. I said, "Why? What are you doing here?" Because I know he wasn't based in that city, in Boya, where the university is. He was based in the city where I was born, in Kumba, where we grew up. I said, "What are you doing here?" He said he came to collect a roadmap to Europe. A roadmap to Europe. He said there's one guy who has entered Spain, who lives here in this city, and the guy has sent a roadmap. He used road to go to Europe, to Spain,
Oh, really?
and he has written a roadmap and sent to the elder brother, right? And the elder brother is not ready to travel because he is scared. The
Yeah.
number of countries he has to go through, and
Yeah.
all the like and the
Yeah.
dangers and all the
Yeah.
insecurities on the way.
Yeah.
He showed me the roadmap and everything, costing and everything. And he said he wanted to go. He asked me if I'm coming. I said, you know what? I am coming.
Just like that.
Yes, I'm going with you. So we set a date to leave Cameroon. And I packed all my things. I went back home. I told my parents I'm leaving for Europe. They say, how? Which Europe are you leaving to? I said, I showed them the roadmap. I said, this is a roadmap. Somebody used this road to go to Europe. And I'm going to go through this road because I see no future as a degree holder in Cameroon. My parents, I finished my degree already by then. My parents said to me, oh, if that's what you say, um, we trust you. They trust my instinct. And on the day that we're supposed to leave, the guy told me his money was not enough. I said, you got more money than I've got. I've got 130,000 francs. Let's say 130,000 naira.
Yeah.
And you've got 180,000. And you're telling me that your money is not enough. And you're the one who made me to abandon my job. And now you are telling me you have to stay a little bit and make more money before we go. I say, you know what? I made up my mind, I'm going. I left alone.
Really?
I left Cameroon alone, passing through Nigeria.
Oh, is that
Passing
through
through,
Bakassi?
no, actually
Okay.
went
Road,
through
okay.
Mamfe and went through Ikom, and then
Okay.
start going up through
I don't even
Kano,
know I don't even know those parts of Nigeria.
went through Niger, and so on. Cut a long story short, it took me 6 months. But on the way, I met other people. I think you've heard about that road and people using the road to Spain.
Yeah, yeah. So I
Yeah,
know to Libya.
yeah. Going to Libya, but I went through instead to Morocco, and from Morocco,
Oh,
I
okay.
went to Spain. So in Morocco, there are 2 Spanish territories, right?
Okay.
Spanish territories inside Morocco, but these territories are inside Morocco at the top, at the
Okay.
northern end of Morocco, just close to the water, the Mediterranean Sea. These 2 territories are owned by Spain. They are Spanish territories and everything, but they are inside Morocco geographically. Does that make
Oh,
sense?
yeah, it does.
So
It
if you
does.
succeed to get into those territories, one is called Melilla and the other is called Ceuta. If you get into those territories, you are in Spain. And
Oh,
then the Spanish government will take you, the process. If you are asylum seeker, they will process your asylum and cross you over themselves with the ship to mainland Spain. So
this is when?
this was in 1999.
Oh, that's a long time ago. Yeah.
Do you know Francis Ngannou, the boxer come from Cameroon?
Yes, yes, yes. Yes, I
Yeah.
do.
Francis
Yeah.
Ngannou used the road, but he used it later after he used it in 2008, much later than I used it much earlier.
Oh,
1999,
really?
we are talking about 1999 here.
Uh, that's a long time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
27
Almost.
years.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
27 years. I got to Spain after 6 months. I cannot. I'm trying to write. I'm writing a book and so on about my journey and all the challenges and
Please
things that
do.
I face. Yeah,
Please
but
do.
that is how I got to Spain.
Oh.
I lived in Spain for 12 years, and I got my Spanish citizenship. Um,
Oh, so you're both Cameroonian and Spanish right now.
well,
Oh.
if you have a foreign citizenship, you lose Cameroon citizenship. So I
Oh,
lost
okay.
Cameroon citizenship when I got my Spanish citizenship in 2011. And I was waiting for that because I really wanted to move to the UK. And the reason why I wanted to move to the UK was one, because of the education system. Obviously, I went back to Spain. I did my first master's in Spain.
Yeah, I
Okay,
saw
but
you.
that was the gap was 10 years from the time I had my first degree, because when I went to Spain immediately, I didn't care about going back to education immediately. I had to work money. It was a
Yeah.
good time in Spain. Life was good. There was a lot of jobs. The crisis had not hit Spain then, the 2008 crisis. So Spain
Yeah.
was really, really good. And I thank God I did make a lot of money in Spain at the time, you know. And I did my first master's, and then after that, I came to the UK to pursue a PhD.
Why
Um,
did you come to the UK? Why didn't you stay in Spain?
Good
Because
question. That's what people
now
ask.
Brits are trying to run to Spain. They want to leave the UK and go and stay. So you came from there.
Yes. So, two reasons. They perceive good educational system in the UK. was the first one. I say perceive for a reason, because that's what people think.
Yeah.
In hindsight, when I think about it, I think if I wanted good educational system, I should have gone to Finland or Singapore. But
Mm,
of course, the educational system in the UK, as compared to many other countries in the world,
yeah.
the certificates are valuable and
Yeah.
recognized
Yeah.
in many countries of the
Yeah.
world. And
Yeah.
secondly, to make a family, I always wanted to live in an English country,
Oh,
because I
do you
came,
come from? Okay, so yeah, go on.
yeah,
Yeah.
from the English part of Cameroon.
Okay, now I
So
understand.
I
Yeah,
thought I
yeah.
would have been more comfortable living in the UK in terms
Okay.
of my children growing up here than in
Okay.
Spain, and in terms of me interacting and doing things in English. I
Oh,
will not be disadvantaged, unlike Spain, when it's a language I had to learn, although I speak Spanish as well.
yeah.
But you cannot really compete with the locals, even though So those are the two reasons why I came to the UK. But then the weather, the weather is not really good. It's not good as Spain, and I still go to Spain quite often.
Really, you
So
should, and you should take me. You should take me with you on one of those times you're going to Spain. I mean, you've overturned all my questions because now I have other questions. I came with prepared questions, but what you're just telling me right now, that's for me. It's really interesting this story, because for someone who walked by road, journeyed by road, for 6 months, and you still maintained your focus that today you have a PhD. It's a story of triumph over whatever adversity, triumph over obstacles. I do not think many people have that kind of story where they do not lose sight of the academic journey, of the academic career. It's so inspirational for me to listen to. So you've
right.
hit me with really something inspiring in this thing. Well, maybe I should start from there. How did you not lose it? How did you, because you said 10 years between when you finished and when you went back for your master's in Spain. How, so it must have been at the back of your mind during those 10 years that I still want to go back to school. I still want to have, so how did you maintain or did not lose that focus?
Yes, Dr. Darcy, that is a very good question, because in Spain you will hardly find people studying. To be honest, unlike the UK, everyone around you
Yeah,
is going back
yeah,
to uni, is going to school, studying and doing
yeah,
something. In Spain, people don't go to school. Black people, foreigners don't go to school like that.
yeah,
And of course, when you are in an environment where people are doing things, you want to do the same thing. But so it is really challenging to think about how I went back to university in Spain after 10
yeah.
years. And well, as you said, I've always wanted to be a PhD holder, because I not only being a PhD holder, but also have the opportunity to impart knowledge to others. And I can only do that if I have the knowledge myself, right? So at the back of my mind, I always knew Spain was a temporary thing, right? So I
Mm,
stayed there for over 10 years, as I said, 12 years. All along, I was doing all sorts of odd jobs. At one time, I taught English and so on, but most times I worked in a factory. Sometimes I worked in restaurants. So I did all type of jobs all in order to survive. But at the back of my mind, I knew that my place was not there. And I knew exactly that it could take long, but I will get there. So when the time came and I was just waiting for that citizenship, and when the time came and I got that citizenship, guess what? When I got collected my passport the next day, and I mean literally the next day, I bought my ticket to the UK. So you see how
whoa,
desperate I was to leave.
yeah,
Yes, the very next day, I bought my ticket to the UK. And yeah, so because I knew that I want to further my education, I want to, yeah. So I applied for a PhD program with Swansea University. I came there, but because I didn't have enough money at the time, I didn't enroll. I went for induction, but I ended up not enrolling. Then I found myself working in the UK again for a short while before going back to study another master's. First of all, I did a PGCE at level 7 to be trained as a teacher. And then I started teaching in secondary school as a supply teacher and also as a cover supervisor and things like that. Then I did a second master's, and then I did my PhD, all in the UK. Yeah, so that was the journey.
Well, too many questions are floating through my mind, and I'm thinking, which one should I ask first? Then, because I mean, this story for me is so inspiring, and thinking, where do I start my questions from? Because I didn't know you had gone to Spain, so my question was about, or the questions I had prepared were about your experience in the UK, but I cannot neglect that that part of Spain as well. So, in Spain, what was your experience like? Just generally, how are the Spanish people? What was your experience like generally?
Right, the Spanish people, they are very warm people. Of course, their weather is warm, so it kind of reflects their mood. They are
Yeah,
very warm people, but Spain generally is I would not say a racist country. It's a country where racism is not contained the way it's contained in the UK. With the laws and all the laws are, in the UK are very hard
yeah,
and on racism and all that. So the fear of consequence is there in the UK, and it's very difficult for someone to be overtly racist in the UK. We still have institutional racism a lot going
yeah,
on in the UK, right?
yeah.
That we all know about. But when it talks of open racism, we don't have that in the UK, but we have that in Spain. And people get away with it because the laws are not there to enforce it. Let me tell you what happened to me the first day I went to a factory to work when I just came to Spain, my first job. I was working in a factory, and
With a university degree.
with a university degree. I came with a university degree. I was working in a factory. Well, in Spain, you don't expect to work in anybody's office with your university degree from Africa, to be honest with you. So I learned that earlier or very early in my time there, and I decided to share my degree first and achieve
Mm,
what I wanted to achieve. But yeah, I in the factory I was working, and we're recycling aluminium in that factory, and we're pushing the aluminium in the machines, and the machines were grinding them and stuff. And the guy I was working with in that machine, the Spanish guy, white guy, came to me one morning and said, "Call me Negro." And I said, "Negro, why did you," in Spanish, he said, "Negro, can add the card as a máquina así? Who left this machine like this?" And I'm like, "Que me has llamado? How did you call me?" And he said, he repeated it, he said, "Negro." It sent chill down my spine, like, wow. And, I did history in my first degree, of course. So I was very sensitive when it comes to racism because I had learned about the transatlantic slave trade. I learned a lot about slavery and slave. So I was very, very sensitive. And still I am very sensitive when it comes to racism. And I just walked straight into the office and I reported to the manager. I said, I still remember the guy's name 27 years after because it's something that stuck in my head
yeah.
since then. I said, Oscar just called me racist. I mean, he just called me Negro. Sorry. He just called me Negro, and I'm not having it. So because they have to show that they are not a racist company, they called him to the office and they sacked him straight away. And which was something strange to see in Spain. But it was fulfilling for me to see that they reacted that way. But many of us experience racism in Spain. In the streets, they can call you Negro, de mierda, black from shit or something like that,
Oh.
and no consequence. I think the Spanish government need to do a little bit more when it comes to protecting fight against
But
discrimination.
this was 1999. Do you
Yes.
think Spain has moved further away? I mean, towards uh in to improve that situation. Do you think so? Is it better now?
It's
That the attitude to Africans and black people.
it's a bit better. The racism is still there, but it's much better than it was before. I mean, in Spain, when at the time if you were walking on the street as a black person, obviously white person coming opposite, they'll cross the road. They'll cross the road if they are coming in the opposite direction because they were just scared of you for some reason.
Yeah.
And and if you sat on the bus or in this tram, nobody wants to sit with you next. Nobody wants to sit next to you. Things like that happen. Some, I mean, it still happen, but you know, jobs like being a bus driver, something that was common in the UK and other countries, you never have that kind of job in Spain at the time. But now, black people are even police people, police officers in Spain, which is a fantastic development. Black people are driving buses, they have jobs. You know, in Spain at the time, if you were driving a car, make sure it was a very old car. Because if you drive a new car, police will always drive behind you. You go left, they go left. You go right, they go right. They will just intimidate you like that. All the time they see you, they will do that. So those things have now, they are not existing anymore. Spain has evolved a little bit from that situation. I'm going to Spain all the time. And I'm seeing that, I had one time I drove from here to Spain with my car. And I never,
Really?
yes, and I never experienced any kind of racism. Nobody stopped me. No police drove behind me. My car is fairly good to the Spanish standard. What black people used to drive then. But now I see many black people driving very good cars in Spain, and so I think Spain has come a lot. They have really evolved from that, but they still have a long more way to go in terms of racism. It has to be something that is in the law that they should take it seriously. I think
Yeah.
so.
When we see things like that, particularly it's in football, because I'm a football lover. When you see people like Vinicius Junior uh, being abused racially and in the stadium, that's when we think, oh, so this thing still happens. So you had your daughter in Spain.
Yeah.
She grew up in the UK. Her
She grew up partly in Spain and then came over to the
came to the
UK.
UK probably when
But
she was 5
when
or
she was going to high school, so she stayed there for a while with the
for a
mom.
while.
Until when she
Oh,
was going to high school, she came over and
okay.
stayed with me.
Okay, that is that one. Then you have some other children as well.
I have four
And
more.
former, and then their dad is Cameroonian. What is their own identity? Do they speak Spanish, or just the daughter that speaks Spanish? Do they speak English, Spanish, and whatever your local language? What is their identity? Where do they see themselves? What do they call themselves? British, British Spanish, British Cameroonian. What?